All right. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another book review session by the Bibliophile family. Today, we have Ruchi Mohan ji with us presenting book review The Missing Link Why Medicines Are Not Working for You. So, over to you, Ruchi ji.
All right. So thank you so much, Palak. And firstly, I would really want to express my lot of gratitude to the TBF family because when you give me an opportunity to review a book, it gives me an opportunity to complete a book, and actually, it helps me in internalizing it a lot. So provides me that opening. So thank you so much for yet another opportunity for sharing a book review. Uh, Before we start reviewing this book, I would want that all of us just close our eyes and we'll chant a prayer together and then we start. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So as the prayer says that from the Purna came. So one of my mentors explained it to me very beautifully. Like if you have been gifted a big dairy milk chocolate and you cut a piece of that chocolate. So even that small bit of that chocolate is as sweet as the whole chocolate. And that is what this prayer says. And that is what the essence of this book is, that from the whole we have come and we are nothing but a part of that big whole, the complete holistic, the reality. And we are an extension of that. So we are no different than that reality. And that is what, how we have been designed, how we have to seep in that belief back into us and shift our glance from treatment of the symptoms to understanding the root and actually addressing the root and coming back to that joyful nature. So the missing links, this book, it says the why medicines are not working for you. We've seen this is a book authored by 6 doctors: Dr. Aarti Midha, Dr. Sanjeev Sharma, Dr. Pankaj Verma, Dr. Gaurang, Dr. Mankul, and Dr. Sadhana. I know Dr. Mankul personally because of the Yes connection and the connection, because I think it's been couple of years that I know him and I have listened to his talks. Uh, the difference, why did I choose this book? We can go to the next slide. That why did I choose this particular book? Because of a personal reason. I think this nudge arose in me in the year 2014, the year in which I lost my father because of 1.5 years of struggle of diabetes. And it was quite a surprising thing to see that 17 years of diabetes had not done so much of harm unless and until he we as a family decided to shift to a different city. And I think I could connect these dots much later on, that probably that 17 years, despite the body not supporting that much, but there was a social connection that was present in small cities, which eventually when one shifts to a big city, a big city or a much more organized city, the social connection starts missing over here. And 3 years of shifting to a newer city had brought in so much of complications which were very difficult to understand. And so one thing was clear to me, that it is much deeper than the sugar levels. It is much deeper than the different uh, complexities that diabetes brings itself with. So probably this was one nudge that was always, it always triggered in me to explore further and further. And years of understanding, learnings from different sources, I think I'm able to connect a lot of dots that why would have that happened. It also comes from my personal quest because I'm a yoga practitioner, a seeker, and an educator also. And when any person comes as a practitioner to me, uh, more than looking at the physical symptoms of the person, I can speak to the emotional symptoms of the, the emotional language of the person, and I'm able to connect with that in a much better way. And that gives me a lot of insight about the obesity or the knee pain or the pain in the shoulders. So that helps me go much deeper into the issues. So it helps me understand my practitioners much better. And apart from that, I deeply trust in the marvel of the creation, the kind of miraculous body or the system that each one of us have been gifted with, and which is even at any kind of disease, 99% of the 99% of our system is still disease free. And when at disease, the body itself is equipped with healing mechanisms. All we have to do is trust it and let it uh, uncover its healing mechanisms, manifest those healing mechanisms, and also take care of it. So the kind of we've been gifted with two kidneys, whereas a human system can easily survive on one kidney. So there is so much of physical reserve, psychological reserve that our body already has. The kind of if we look at the human structure, the kind of the how our body has been packed up with so much of reserve and space. We look at the air sacs, the when we unfold the air sacs of the body, it can actually cover up a full uh, lawn tennis, the court. That is the kind of surface which is packed in one human being. So the kind of nerval, the connections, the length of the nerval connections, the nerve connections that we have, it one person's nerve connections end to end can actually wrap up the entire entire world, entire globe. So uh, so the trust in the marvel of creation is immense. And this book really touches upon these aspects, that what we might see at the surface might not be the root of the problem, but the root might be something which is much deeper. And with this, we can move to the next slide. So, what is the lens that this book is is taking up? So, first disclaimer: I'm not a science student, and this book is a very good read for doctors and healers and people who are from science background and have an interest in health. So for them, this is they'll be able to pick up the terminologies that have been used here in a very easy way. But I am not a science student, but what my effort would be to bring out the essence of this book in front of all of you. So the lens that the lens of the missing links uses is that what we see as chronic and mental diseases, these are not purely genetic, but there might be something much deeper in them. The medicines that might medicines are just tools, but they are not the masters. And as much as the doctor works on the patient also equally has to participate in the recovery. Then only it becomes a two-way circuit. The human body, it is an integrated system. It is none of it is nothing in it is isolated. And so everything works in connection with each other. So that's why the when someone comes and says ki mujhe thyroid ke liye yoga sikha dijiye, so thinking that sarvangasana is going to cure everything. No, the approach doesn't work that way. It is an integrated approach. The health is not any absence of any diseases, but it is a harmonization of different principles. And mental disorder, what might look as depression or anxiety, it might be a problem of the metabolism and mitochondrial disorder. It would be a it can be a problem at the cellular level of the person. So anyone, if you would like to share that, have you ever gone through experience something like this in your life, that you've been taking all the medicines but it's not been working, or you've been doing everything, following a very amazing lifestyle, sleeping on time, a good diet, but still things have not worked, or there is something that is missing. So if anyone would like to share anything.
So, not me, but my relative, like my aunt, she was, unfortunately, she's not there now, but she suffered from high BP, and it was chronic for her, and she tried a lot of medicines, but unfortunately, it did not work for her the way it should have. And eventually, like, she passed away due to the same, like, old age and chronic BP. So, yeah.
Okay. So
Yes, Swapna.
good.
Yes, yes. So actually, I'll be talking about my father. I got a little bit emotional the moment when Ruchi ji started with, that about losing her father in the year 2014. I lost my dad in 2015, December, the very same date that we are today. It's been 10 years. So actually, my father, he used to, as Ruchi see, I mean, sorry, as Ruchi was telling, that you're doing everything right, but still there's something which is not in alignment. Though he had a very healthy lifestyle. Okay, he's never been admitted in the hospital, he's never had taken even a medicine for even for a headache. I don't remember him having a headache also in his entire life. But this day, 27 December 2015, still haunts me, because he had a massive heart attack and he died in his sleep. There was one loud snore, okay, and that's it. And even when we got his body and all that, it was like fully calm. Generally, when people are in pain and if they pass away, you can see it, see it in the body and all that. But here it's like he's happily smiling. I'm like, what was wrong? Every time I kept looking at his body, I always felt, okay, he's just going to get up of the ice box right now and tell, okay, hi, I'm all back, what's happening? So I still am still surprised, because he had diabetes. Okay, it was well controlled. He used to do 1 hour of walking every day, 1 hour of yoga every day, and still, what went wrong? All we were told is just a massive heart attack. And heart attack is something you will at least have some kind of symptoms, no? And later on also, I got to know that generally people who have diabetes, for them, getting a heart attack, there's no such symptom, like, which you can actually immediately act on. And he used to have a very healthy lifestyle, very particular about his diet, about his sleep. In fact, he used to scold, my mom, that, see how are you eating, you should eat more veggies, don't eat this, don't eat that. And it came as a total shocker for us, because I mean, I'm still I mean, I still don't know what happened, but I mean, but anyway, I'm at least thankful and grateful that he wanted the death the way he wanted it, sleeping peacefully, and without troubling anybody. So yeah, that's still a shock for me, actually. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for listening to me. Yes, over to you, Ruchi ji.
Sorry to hear about
Yeah.
this, Swapna,
Yeah.
and prayers for his soul.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
So I can stay one. It is little bit different story where if you have a strong internal intention or a mindset to do something, even though you have a chronic disease with you, how can you survive? This is a story of my aunt. She was diagnosed with a cancer, and she survived almost 14 years. Okay, and I think in the 12th year she had a secondaries also in the brain. But she, according to her, she had one more responsibility to execute before she passed away. That is to get her son married. That's my cousin to get married. And she was the sole, head of that family. And already secondaries was spreading it. It was very, very difficult. And obviously, there was no alliance coming in or something like that. I thought it will be very, very difficult for him because I was very closely attached with that family too. I was taking care of all her medical condition. I know how she is actually deteriorating. It was really surprising to see, after 1.5 years of the secondaries came in. I think you understand what secondaries, right? I mean, it is spread inside the brain. Coming in, there was alliance happen, marriage happened. Okay. In fact, I felt good. At least she's there. Things have happened. Within 6 months, she's not there. Okay. That's the same medicine, every treatment, everything was same. Okay. Not much of it. I think there is something which is much beyond the medicine actually make people to also, be alive to make that. You call that as a responsibility or their own internal urge to leave or something like that. That still surprises me. I know that what happened in the last 3 months of us, but the same condition, same medicine was given for us in the last three years too before she gone through it. So it always, puzzles me too. Because as soon as I saw your title, I wanted to really listen to it. What this medicine can't do it. That's why I'm here to it. So I thought I'd just share this.
Thank you for sharing, Chidaji. Yeah, I mean, what you are saying, I have also seen this. This is like my nani passed away after my nanaji passed away, and that was all determined by her that she will not be the first one to go. And within a span of, a gap of 2 months, this happened. So very surprising, and this is the mystery of how things interplay, and they are much beyond the surface level detection or the symptoms. So thank you for sharing your stories, everyone. Uh, yeah, we can go to the next slide. So, what is missing? The As we all understand that health is not just an absence of illness, but harmony of the being. So, this harmony, when till the time we reach the state of this harmony, we've not got healed. Treatment of the symptoms, removal of the disease is not it completely. There is a deeper question that needs to be answered, the deeper craving of the soul to be at the harmonious state that needs to be restored. And when that restoration happens, that is when we bring health on plate. So many indications, many symptoms, small symptoms like last year, people saying that last couple of years back or 2 3 years back, I used to go to the terrace at least 10 times a day, but now I just go twice, or I even avoid that. Now that there is a deep indication written in the
Ruchi, are you there, Ruchi?
I think she's facing some network issue, maybe.
Yeah, apologies. We are waiting for Ruchi to join again. Pinuji also wanted to share something, right? Please,
Yes, yes, Palak. Um, my father had an this open heart surgery, had an heart attack in 2008. So, oh yeah, his lifestyle was active. He was very active. He didn't have any this thing. I mean, no diabetes, no this thing, cholesterol level. Everything was normal, but doctor said it might be due to stress. So yeah, we didn't know what was the cause.
yeah, so this is, I think, the missing link that we all are searching. Thank you, Venuji, for sharing. And yes, over to you, Ruchi.
sorry, I lost the connection in between somehow. Okay, can we go back to, so we were here, yeah. So very mild symptoms or indications like bloating, constant bloating, or unable to think clearly, negative thoughts recurring, or yawning, snoring. These are some indications of a deeper thing which is cooking up, which is happening inside of us. So we can go to the next one. Now, with this, uh, the book, the various, the six doctors, they come together and they talk about the various things which are missing from the current medical system. It is a power of and on which the integrative medicine thrives. It thrives. It is a power of and which doesn't stop just as at the symptom level, but it goes deeper, 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 and that is what connects the various levels of our existence. So human beings are multi-layered. We are emotional beings. We are uh, energy beings. We are physical beings. So there are such different levels or layers of our existence, and we cannot stop at one layer. But when we so the case studies, there are various case studies. A child walking into the clinic and talking, a 5-year-old child. Let me state an example. And the great part of the book is that the case studies that have been used are, these are the real case studies, the real cases that have been patients who have been healed through various symptoms. And the approach, the medicinal approach, the medical approach that has been taken, the various steps that have been taken have been mentioned. So that gives us, that's quite amazing to see that someone, a child 5 years old, who is showing symptoms of withdrawal from going to the school, and is just imagine what kind of a stress would be there on a 5-year-old child, you know having a good childhood, having a good family. We would not imagine that any kind of stress. But now this child coming up with negative thoughts, so recurring negative thoughts, and uh, not feeling like to go to the school anymore. So now they treat this child. What happens in the case of this child is that this child is detected, he has an infection and there is a fever, and in the fever there is an antibiotic, there is address that is addressed to this child. And with that antibiotic, what ideally should have been done was a psychiatric medicine, because of the negative thoughts. So you give medication for addressing, and anti anxiety pills or antidepressive pills, or pills to address the negative thinking of the child. But what those medicines could not do, this antibiotic does in this child. And that is the start of his recovery passage from here. So when this antibiotic is given to the child shows um signs of recovery. The negative thoughts start, lowering down, and that's why it says that we need the best of both the worlds. So here, allopathic or the modern medicine is not isolated. The integrated medicine, it is an integrative approach which combines the modern medicine and the traditional medicine, or which is also a mainstream medicine. So, and we see this, the good thing is that we can see all of this happening around us. Very recently, a friend's daughter got admitted to Apollo because of the child had problems of breathing from the mouth, and the doctors recommended that before we go to the surgery, we want you to explore jalneti and practice pranayam, and then your base would be prepared for the surgery, and then we will be able to. And an Apollo like hospital saying something like this, that sounds very good, so it trusts, it brings in a change, we can say hope into the system, that medicine is getting integrated. So also the power of and, where the objective and the subjective healing takes place. Ayush has an approach, absolutely. So this objective and subjective healing coming together, where with the objective healing there are reports that can showcase that what are the parameters, what is the improvisation that has happened in the parameters. And the subjective, because uh, of the the changes or the betterment of health that the person is going through. There are many subjective changes that the person resonates with. So we can go to the next one. And that's why I always believe and feel that it's one really needs to have a good doctor on board. One should always be connected with a good doctor. So, and there are good doctors. It's not that there are all the doctors which are out there, you cannot trust them. There are good doctors, and once you have a good doctor on board, it is because that that doctor who is not just treating your symptoms, but is who is that good doctor for you, one who can talk to you, one who invests time in you and can understand your mental and physical background. So uh, with such a doctor, when such a doctor, you join hands with such a doctor, then you have it's like you join hands, that doctor actually becomes a partner in your health and happiness. So I am blessed to have such doctors in my life. So let's come to the soul approach. This is by Dr. Aarti Midha, who whose the complete trajectory of her treatment of her medical profession changed when this the 5-year-old child came to her clinic, and this child was not just another child but the son of her best friend. So the personal connection made her understand things. Wanted she wanted to understand all the more, go deeper into things. And as I just shared the example, the case study of this child, so she came up with this approach called the birth of the soul approach, which is one is S stands for science backed solutions for mental health. Here, how she works with her clients and patients is that nutritional psychiatry, hormonal balancing, working on inflammations, and even working at the cellular level. So how do we, if we look at inflammation, this word we will encounter, since we all come from this background where we understand health and we want to understand more about it. Inflammation is not a bad thing at the first place. It is a, it is like a trigger, which is, it is a defense, it's a natural body's natural defense mechanism. Now this inflammation, unfortunately, we are the when we were when we were in a say 20 years back, when we did not have the the WhatsApp buzzing in every time, so or the emails coming at all point of time, or the traffic being much lesser, so the environment much calmer. So probably that was a time when we used to take stress, or we used to shift to that stress zone only when uh, once in a while, when it was really needed, or when it was the environment was like that. But today, in today's life of pace and uncertainties, this stress is, the moment I send a message to someone and the person doesn't revert me, I am looking out, awaiting for that reply, that blue tick to come in and see that message. So now with all these small alertness that is coming in, my body is staying at, it is getting stressed, or it is always at alert, waiting for that signal to come in, perceive, and uh, then go to the next step. So with this, when the body is always alert, when the body is always at stress, the body is always sending out an inflammatory signal, and the inflammation, which used to be sometime, which was a defense mechanism, it has now become a problem for the body because the body is inflamed. And so with S, the science backed solutions for mental health, she works on all these aspects, which is hormonal balancing. Instant gratification absolutely has too many negatives. Then cellular health optimization. Then with O, she talks about the optimizing the mind body connections, and this she talks about by working on the gut microbiome, the entire good bacteria that stays in our gut, and how to prevent that, the inflammation reduction, or taking care or looking into the nutritional deficiencies or the hormonal deficiencies or the imbalances. Then she talks about you unlocking true mental wellness, and this she does by lifestyle interventions. You know, the quality of sleep, the quality of the work, the daily habits of the person, the quality of food, all that. And L, letting your journey to emotional wellness begin. So with the base of SOU, the journey to emotional wellness eventually begins, and uh, that is the goal. So not just treating the symptom, but actually leading to that emotional wellness is what the goal is. So this is the soul approach. So they talk about the power of and, they talk about the soul approach, and that is what essentially all the doctors, the co-authors of this book, they are talking about again and again from their own perspective and their own case studies. So we go to the next one. Now, we talk about integrative psychiatry. There are six pillars that they talk about, which are essential, the pillars on which the complete integrative system or the psychiatry is standing on. So, one is the hormones, that these hormones can hijack your mind. So, often I've seen that any symptoms of unable to think clearly or feeling very tired every time, these are actually indicators of hormonal imbalances in the body. And if we see the cortisol, it is a stress, it indicates stress, it indicates danger. Insulin controls your blood sugar, thyroid controls your metabolism, then your hormones control your mood, your confidence, your emotional regulation. So any we can say the disbalance in the hormones, or uh, this can actually hijack or impact your mental state eventually, because hormones are the ones which are regulating everything in the body, from the metabolism to the sleep quality to the stress level, everything is being controlled by them. So any disbalance, so pillar number one that they rely is on the hormonal checkup, which is the checking taking care of the hormones. And then they go to the second pillar. So uh, when we talk about thyroid, okay, so we consider thyroid as a connection where the person might, go into an obese state or go into a completely into you can say lose weight drastically. Hypothyroidism will result in a lot of sadness, fatigue, mood swings, anxiety, weight gain, feeling cold. Why feeling cold? Now we'll also, the doctors also draw their parallels. So whatever discussions we are having, if you try the, which is done in the end of the book, everything is, has actually been covered up and taught to us through the system of Ayurveda. So weight gain, which is kapha, so when the kapha deposition in the body, kapha is cold, and that is the reason that the person feels so much of cold in hypothyroidism. Whereas in hyperthyroidism, where the thyroid, the thyroid hormone is secreted all the more, there is upregulation, there are panic attacks, there is insomnia, there is restless energy, there is weight loss, there is heat intolerance. And what is that? Eventually, that is the imbalanced pitta in the body. So everything will have a connection, will draw a parallel with the Ayurveda understanding that we have. Okay, we go to the next one. We all understand this, and that the connection between the gut and the brain, it is so remarkable that before any presentation or anything, there are butterflies in the stomach, so there is that feeling of anxiety. And uh, around 500 million neurons, our brain produces neurons, but more than that, our gut produces neurons. Whereas there is a number of, approximately 500 million neurons, and trillions of bacteria are actually produced in the gut region. And this can affect the neurotransmitters, this can affect the inflammation, and also the gut is also controlled by the vagus lining. We all understand the vagus nerve, which is the biggest cranial nerve in the system, which covers up all the major organs from starting from here till your abdomen, till your gut. So this vagus nerve is something which helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, or the resting system of the body. Now, when the gut is not in its place, or the number of neurons, or there is an impact in the bacterial growth, or the bacteria production, or the good bacteria versus bad bacteria, it actually impacts the vagus nerve as well. So when it impacts the vagus nerve, we can imagine if the vagus nerve is getting impacted, the parasympathetic nervous system of the body is getting active, it is getting impacted. And if PNS is getting impacted, which means we are almost staying in sympathetic nervous system again. Sympathetic nervous system, where the body seeks sympathy. So it is more related to anxiety, fear, where the body is always crying out for help. So the gut brain axis, they deal it something which is really helpful in dealing with the gut health. And this connection is, which I have also personally experienced and implemented, is the power of journaling. Like about the food, that what is the food that you took today, what were the digestive symptoms, what was the mood after that food, uh, the sleep level, the sleep quality after eating that food. And actually, this journaling, the food journaling, has helped me quit many things, many harmful things. Uh, so that is the power of these. Now, if we see, journaling is not prescribed medicine, but it is a much deeper medicine. It's also a form of very deep level medication that we are doing through journaling. And the control of the bowel movements. So I remember this was the year 2018, when, because I've always been curious to explore into these areas. 2018, I visited a spiritual healer, and I told her about my problems with the stomach, and she told me that just meditate on your stomach. Your stomach needs some attention. It needs some love. So that was a quite a very it was a an opening for me. So a much deeper level understanding, or developing that kind of connection, that there is something in me which wants to work towards me, but I am not giving it its due attention or love. And probably that's the reason it is not working with me towards my health. So yeah, so from here we move to the pillar number 3. Why food is the brain's best medicine. So whatever we eat, we become that. And this group doesn't need this explanation at all, that why food is the brain's best medicine. And we can even have this experimentation also, that after a pizza or a burger, the feeling that stays in us is a very hollow feeling. It is a very suffocating and a very hollow feeling. Whereas, because Agni is again drawing a parallel with Ayurveda system, that when the any food, as per Ayurveda, any food that enhances our Agni is supposed to be food for us, or is supposed to be eaten by us. Anything which is putting down the fire or the Agni, so that is supposed to be discarded. That is not good for us. So a simple way of understanding what food is good for us. And why? Because If in the mother's book also, she talks about digestion, that if the food stays in the stomach, in the colon, and it is not digested well, the brain stops working. But it's only all the complete energy of the brain is actually fixed over here, that till the time this gets digested, the brain doesn't work. It doesn't work and it stays there only. So everything gets hijacked if the digestive system is not well, and that is why food is the brain's best medicine. Anyone would like to share anything from your this thing? How powerful is the, or if you would have gone through any kind of such experience where any doctor would have told you that this is coming out from stress. So if anyone would like to share, have
Yeah.
you? Yeah, please. MEG.
Yeah, so especially post-COVID, I think anything to everything is related to stress. And
Hmm.
I think stress has taken the center position in, I guess, in all our lives. So while listening to all of you, I too would like to share this that in 2021, um, rather, we nearly lost my husband. On a night, um, we lost him thrice. He went into cardiac arrest, and once he came back to us on his own, and twice he had to be revived. So, a person immensely athletic with no other morbidities, till that moment. Um, we were surprised, rather, we are surprised till date that how could such a thing happen. Um, it's definitely by God's grace that he's with us today, and he's fine, no doubt. Medication throughout life now, but the sad part is that a person who used to hate the word doctor, no disrespect to doctors at all. I know Jyotsna is here and I love her too much. So, so no disrespect to any of the doctors. My contact list is full of doctors, because I have friends, I have relatives. So half my contact list is all doctors. So a person who used to hate doctors has to go to doctors every 3 months for a checkup, for a lifetime now. So yeah, I think I do agree, and so much of it, I can relate to that. Health and things, they are beyond uh, what we think.
True,
It's not just about medicines,
true,
but yes, I do see this factor of stress playing up somewhere, because eventually what the doctors came out telling us was, uh, I've never heard a doctor, first of all, say this. He came out of the operation theater with folded hands, and he said, "आपके कुछ अच्छे कर्म होंगे, आपके हस्बैंड के माता पिता के आशीर्वाद होंगे, and your daughters, their luck and destiny, it has brought back your husband."
hmm,
So otherwise, it is, I think it's because of stress and it's because of this. They could not pinpoint. Till date, we don't know why this thing happened to him. He actually played 45 minutes of rigorous tennis, and uh, this happened to him on court. He played single versus doubles, and he won against that doubles team, and then after, it could have been rigorous exercise, it could have been whatever. So now when we think back, it could have been any of those things. But yes, I think somewhere we must all listen to our bodies. And yes, food matters a lot, because my daughter suffers from IBS. I can relate. Every time Zainab mentions it, my heart goes out to Zainab also, because I see my daughter undergoing that. So yes, stress, as you have been correctly mentioning, Ruchi, doctors have also started saying, "ये stress की वजह से है, ये stress की वजह से है."
true.
Thanks all for listening.
Thank you. Yeah, so there are mentions that there are times when the body doesn't show any symptom, and it is on the brink, it is on the edge of falling down fully. So and there is nothing, there is uh, Nothing has. So there are such instances as well where the only the physician intuition knows that there is something wrong, whereas the reports might be completely clean. So there are such cases as well. Yeah, Palak, you raised your hand.
Yeah, I would like to share about this food. And as you said, that the brain is totally involved when the portion is not digested in your body, like digestion is not correct. So I actually experimented this. I don't know how much it's right, but when I saw a documentary on juice fasting by Joe the Juicer, and I did 3 days juice fast, and then I thought, why not extend it to 7 more days, and why not do that? So I actually did. I did Navratri 10 days juice fast and all, and my gut was very healthy. Like it was only with juices, and I focused so much on those 10 days. Like I thought, okay, there is nothing more to worry about. Like my brain was not worrying about digestion or anything, and I was very much relieved. So I think food actually focuses that. So I was very happy for those 10 days working. Yeah.
True. Vinuji?
Yes, I would like to share that there is. I've read this book by name Good Energy, Dr. Casey Means. She
Okay.
also has stated that she found that her patients were not recovering, though the medicines were given and everything. So she started giving, instead of sick care, she started to concentrate on generating health. So she says she gave them lifestyle changes, advised on lifestyle changes, nutritional changes, and yes, and they recovered. So she has given that, and she says the serotonin hormone, 90% of the serotonin hormone that regulates mood and contentment, that is made in the gut
That
and
is
not
made
in
in
the
the gut.
brain.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, and IBS is sometimes called depression of the gut.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, of lately, I'll share an example, live example of my mother-in-law, and she spoke to the doctor, and she talked about her, her bowel movements and all. The doctor stated that um, yeah, it is most likely IBS. So she detected IBS on her. The background is that when I spoke to the doctor one on one, that why is this happening, because so it is essentially too much of negative thinking, negative thoughts, or depressive state, as you are likely saying, so depressive tendencies, that if any, now these are all linked, interlinked so much that this particular thought that uh, I was so educated but I could not take up a job because of my family responsibilities. So these kind of childhood traumas, or things where which these energies which are stuck in us, that I could have done so well in my life but I was not allowed to do so, not allowed to, these particular phrases that stick in us, these actually create or are become the root of, or the root knots of storing these stresses, which eventually manifests in the form of various diseases. So yeah, so I can resonate with what you are saying. Okay, so we move to the next pillar, the fourth pillar, which is the strong bond between stress, inflammation, and chronic diseases. So constant stress, constant inflammation is equals to chronic diseases. There is a very direct connection between all three of them. So every time we are stressed, we are inflamed, and every time we are inflamed, we are affecting the gut health, we are affecting the neurotransmitters and the entire hormonal balance of the body, which eventually releases into chronic diseases. And chronic diseases are not something which is coming from one single idea or irregulation of one single parameter in the body. It is a combination of different parameters in the body which results into chronic diseases. So pillar number 5, which is the next one, homocysteine and methylation pathways in psychiatric disorders. Now, homocysteine is basically a sulfur containing amino acid, which is the smallest unit of a protein. And high levels of homocysteine is actually, it affects the brain, it affects the heart, it affects the entire body. And methylation is basically, it is a recycling system of the body. And methylation helps the liver in detoxification, in absorption, in deciding that which gene has to work, which gene doesn't have to work. Or also it makes brain chemicals to control mood or emotions. And it also produces, helps in production of hormones that help with sleep or stress management, or feeling good, those kind of hormones. Now, increased levels of homocysteine, so anyone with mental disorders, with too much of anxiety, too much of confusion, brain fog, so these doctors, Dr. Mankul and Dr. Pankaj Verma, as I'm aware of, which this information I'll share in the end as well. This clinic is in the name of Sampurnam Holistic Center. It is in Delhi, in Hoskas, and under one roof, it is dermatology, Ayurveda, homeopathy, allopathy, everything which is coexisting, and that is why it's an integrated solution. They also have facilities of panchakarma and light therapy and different healers sitting under the same roof. And that is the reason that with all the faculties coming together, they are able to take care of the patients in a very holistic manner. So they suggest that any kind of mental disorders or mental confusions or mental extremes, homocysteine levels have to be, are the first, is the first thing to be checked out, because the increase in homocysteine level is actually affecting the brain and the heart health both. So uh, this is an insight into this kind of hormonal. But otherwise, if you see in the regular or the modern medicine, how is this treated is immediately anti-anxiety or antidepressants are addressed to the person without going into the level of checking out into the details of checking out the hormones or the play of the inflammation or the lifestyle of the person. Immediately these things are handed out to the people. So we go to the next pillar, the last pillar of the integrative psychiatry, which is mental health and spirituality. Respect, believe in the unknown. Uh, also, so last year also I had couple of students in and I don't know why this is a coincidence. This generally turns out to be men. No, no, nothing to the men over here, but who have difficulty in, they want innately, they want to take up, they want to be on board and understand spirituality, but the logical mind also at the same time, it defies the existence of anything, which is a bigger power. So to this there comes a very simple this thing, that just imagine that even if you don't believe in anything, but if you look at the intricacy with which our system has been built up, where everything is autonomic, we don't have to beat the heart, we don't have to work on the digestive system, everything is working on its own. So definitely there is some bigger engineer sitting than us, above us, who is sitting and controlling this entire this thing. And if we are believers of spirituality, if we try and have faith on that bigger power, what happens is that there are times in life, and I think that is every time, when you have someone bigger to give on your load to. It's, you are, the train is moving on, but you are not picking up your baggage on your head. You are letting the train handle that baggage instead of you holding that baggage on your own head. So spirituality is that, like that train. And when we bring in the aspect, the mental health, when we work on mental health and spirituality, and we consciously work towards imbibing it, it brings in a lot of peace in the overall personality of the person. So these are the six pillars of integrative psychiatry that Dr. Arti Midha talks about. And with this, we move on to the next one, where the doctors talk about the various connections, the connections between diabetes and mental health. Now, what can be the connection between diabetes and mental health? Again, this comes from a personal reflection because of my father's health. Uh, Diabetes, the first thing that I can recall is that when he was told that, that now you have to go through dialysis, the first thing that comes to the mind is that, oh, once the dialysis starts, it never ends. So you are slave to this system, and you will have to, then comes the uh, the economic burden of dialysis. So it is an expensive treatment, and so it comes with social implications. It is there as a burden on the healthcare system as well. So diabetes and mental health, they go hand in hand. Talking about obesity, stress, and mental health again, uh, when the body is obese, first thing that comes in is low self esteem, issues of body image. With the body image and low self esteem comes depressive or anxiety tendencies, which yield into unhealthy coping mechanisms. And what are these unhealthy coping mechanisms? When when there are depressing or anxiety tendencies, there are secretions of such hormones which actually make us eat junk food. So we want to feed on the junk all the more. So eventually we have fallen into a trap where obesity is leading to junk, and the junk is leading to obesity. So it is a vicious cycle that we fall in. So with this comes the mood disorders, and because food is controlling everything, your mind is controlling everything, the gut is controlling everything, and everything is super connected. It is all integrally connected. The gut brain connection. So when the gut is not strong, it is called a leaky gut. And when the gut is a leaky gut, so the our gut has a lining which is as thin as a paper tissue. And when the gut lining is, in the case of healthy individuals, this gut lining is a very strong lining. All the cells are very thickly knitted and nothing can leak out of this lining. But when this gut lining is not strong, say partially digested things or toxins, they can actually leak out of the gut and they can spread out. So the leaky gut syndrome again impacts the mental health as well. The skin gut brain connection. So any pimple, so presence of acne, drawing a parallel with Ayurveda. So presence of acne is an indication of increased heat in the body, which is again a disbalance of the energies in the body. So the kind of yeah, in this many such case studies have been discussed, जहाँ पर जैसा हमारा आज का रहने का सिस्टम है. सी अर्लियर वी यूज टू हैव होम्स विच वर हाइपर विच यूज टू हैव गुड वेंटिलेशन. हर घर के अंदर, हर रूम के अंदर खिड़की थी, हर घर के अंदर नेचुरल वेंटिलेशन सिस्टम था. बट टुडे वी आर लिविंग इन अ different kind of environment, in a flat structure, or where the ventilation is not there. Now the ventilation is not there, it leads to a lot of dampness in the whole vicinity. And this dampness is actually sealed behind the decoratives and the wallpapers that we have jutted on the walls. Now this dampness that is coming up, that is also seeping in changes or fungal infections in the skin, and eventually which leads to the brain as well. Such is the connection. Then the liver Again, liver is the, we can say it is one part of the body uh which is overworked always. It is working all the time, and it is responsible, it is taking care of storage of nutrients, it is taking care of detoxification, it is taking care of the bile secretion of, so there are so many things that the liver is taking care of. And when the liver is again the it is compromised, or it is overused or abused, eventually it will impact the overall health of the person. And then the subconscious bridge. Yeah, now there is Absorbia and such products to absorb. Yeah. So true, there are such products, and yeah, I think you're talking about the mold thing that we just talked about.
Yes, if there is dampness,
Yeah,
so yes, so we can use these products. I've
right,
used it because I was in a rented house, and yeah, I'm still in a rented house, but in another house. So there was so much of dampness, so I had to use this.
right. So here, one of the doctors, Dr. Mankul, he's a dermatologist and from AIMS. So he mentions about this case study where the person has just shifted to a rented place, and all of a sudden there is fungal, infections, and not just that, even the these are the simple triggers which go unnoticed, but they are resulting, or they are impacting our state of mind and our state of health. Then comes the subconscious bridge, which Dr. Sadhana talks about. The subconscious bridge is where she talks about that whatever is happening in this life, or the problem that we are going through in this life, might not have roots in just this life. So the different we have different levels of the mind. We have the conscious mind, we have the critical mind, we have the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is just 5% of our mind, and unfortunately we are always staying in the conscious mind. We are taking care of the conscious mind only. The critical mind is actually a layer between the conscious and the subconscious, and it is a subconscious which is around 90%, 90 to 95% is what it comprises. It is the its contribution to the mind is. So Dr. Sadhna Mehta is an energy healer, and who takes hypnotherapy as a practice, and she works on bridging the subconscious of the person uh, by making the person relaxed and traversing from one life to the other one, and or going deeper into this life itself, and uphealing or uh, unearthing some traits or traumas that are still impacting the person. And then there is the gut brain axis, and the skin reveals it all. So skin is the biggest mirror of the body. Any dryness, any acne, any over oiling, or too much of oil, or cracks, everything that the skin is showing, it has a story behind it, which is deep rooted into our system. So we move to the next one. So these are the modern lifestyle trends that we have. We are living indoors with poor ventilation. We have phones around us or Wi-Fi's around us throughout. The dietary shifts are immense. The building designs are such that there is less scope of movement of the person and even ventilation. And बोलते हैं ना कि जो पहले सिस्टम था वो बहुत सिंपल और सादा था, बट eventually that was the most authentic and the most sturdy system. You look at the kind of the design of the taps. I'm not denying or in denial of the modern technology or anything, but I am a believer of uh, the kind of systems, the systems that used to integrate simplicity and sustainability. And I believe that that is what we all have experienced in our childhood, or when we with our grandparents. Yeah, we move to the next one. So here Dr. Mankul talks about a new way of understanding the chronic disease, which is called the iceberg model. We go to the next slide and we see what is the iceberg model basically. So iceberg model is talks about that on the surface of it, on the tip of it, all we see is the symptoms. That symptoms with which the person is showcasing basically. It can be itching, it can be sleep disorders, or it can be pain anywhere, or negative thoughts, whatever the symptom is. Biochemistry talks about what is chemically or medically reflecting in the body. This can be insulin resistance, it can be hormonal imbalance, it can be inflammations or deficiencies of any particular nutrients in the body, or presence of toxins in the body. This is what the biochemistry glance of it. Much deeper than the biochemistry comes the life choices. Now these are the life choices that we make for ourselves and we have control of, which is diet, sleep, stress, relationships, and the bottommost layer is the beliefs, emotions, and the consciousness, uh, which is deep seated fears, traumas, or grief, or unresolved traumas, unresolved fights, or some core beliefs that I am not safe, or I am not taken care of, or I am not loved, or the state of our awareness or connection with something higher, something bigger, which is our consciousness, our spirituality. So he applies the iceberg model, and he works on this model with the patients who walk to him uh, at the center. So, where the treatment starts with the symptoms, it goes deeper into the biochemistry, unearthing of the disbalances in the body, going addressing the life choices, and eventually going into beliefs, emotions, and consciousness level of the person. We go to next one. So, what is the core message that the various doctors, the six doctors, are coming together and giving in this book is that gut bacteria produces neurotransmitters. So, gut is, as Ayurveda also says, that out of the the various dhatus, Agni is Agni is something that always has to be taken care of. Agni ko mand nahi hone dena hai. So gut bacteria produces neurotransmitters, blood sugar stability. It will affect the mood and the focus of the person. Now, just imagine I have a practitioner who comes to me and uh, you know throughout his practice what I've seen is he has always mentioned that I face a lot of concentration issues, so give me some, I want to do pranayam and give me meditation. But uh, there might be a case that this person might have blood sugar unstable, or might be some inflammation inside the body, or might be some hormonal level issues which are causing this lack of concentration. But on the face of it, we consider lack of concentration, lack of focus as something completely mentally driven and not related to the physical parameters or the medical parameters of our existence. So here it is an integrative approach which does not look at a mental disease as purely mental but as something much more deeper. It does not take any disease which is at the physical level as purely disease at the physical level, but actually draws its connection with the mental existence of the person or the state of the mental well-being of the person. So the nutrient status provides building blocks for brain chemicals. Toxic load of the person is interfering with neurological processes. So these are how there are such deep connections which are there in our existence and which can impact our reality. We go to the next one. Detoxifying body and the spirit. Now coming to the connection of liver and mental health, this is Dr. Pankaj Verma talks about it, that detoxification and brain health. So liver is we just talked about this, that how the liver takes care of the storage of the release of energy in the body when when the person is not eating any food. So how it is regulating the blood sugar and the energy levels, and eventually controlling the entire health. So we take care of so now this is if we talk about the corporate pattern, he's talked about the corporate pattern where stress, fatigue, and there is always a hidden liver strain. So I'm sure most of us are over here are have experienced corporate life some or the other time. Palak is still into it. I'm sure many others of many others over here would be still into it. So this was my reality in the corporate sector, where uh, everything was there, but there was a huge gap, a huge vacuum, which had no explanation around it. So which money could not fill in, which the nothing could fill in, or whatever money could get or recognition could get, but that vacuum was there. The cycle was very clear that you wake up every morning for going to the office, uh, to with because there was a deep purpose or a true purpose for which you would like to exist. That purpose was missing from the life. So what is the pattern of a corporate person or the life in corporate is, you get up in the morning, you get ready for office, you leave for office, you have breakfast or you skip the breakfast. When in winters there is bright sunshine outside, you are sitting inside the conference rooms and having heated arguments, and discussing about your corporate strategies. um, this is, I'm talking about a general reality of a corporate sector. And we are all chasing numbers in the corporate, and when we move out, even after moving out for 2 hours, next 2 hours we are still connected with the office. the the friends in your office become, actually have to become the friends, because you are spending around 16 hours in the office, being physically there and not being there, but they're being there on the calls. Weekends, uh, Friday night happens to be a big night, because that time that becomes a relaxation night impacting the complete weekend. And by Sunday, when the moment near the moment Sunday reaches, you are depressed that Monday is just here again, and here starts the Monday morning. So since I was in sales and marketing, and I was with Dainik Jagran that was my last assignment. So throughout the COVID period, we used to be on the phone discussing about that. What are we, how will the numbers be met? And we knew that the numbers will not be met. But despite knowing that the numbers will not be met, we were still discussing that how the numbers have to be met when everything around you is closed down. I think that was a trigger, and I felt that COVID has come for a good reason. There is a silver lining to this. And I felt that I cannot handle these empty arguments and empty discussions anymore, because nothing is happening. And I think that was one kick of my life, that let me do something, and one confidence that if I can come to a new city like Delhi and do reach till here, I'm sure I can reach somewhere beyond this as well. So that is what my kick was from corporate to this journey of wellness and yoga. So yeah, he talks about, Dr. Pankaj Verma talks about the corporate pattern, where he talks about the liver dysfunction. So liver being a very, very critical organ of the body, which takes care of the accumulation of toxins in the body. Now, if that is not happening properly, there is the brain chemistry, it changes, because there are toxins which are floating in the blood. When the brain chemistry is impacted, it impacts the psychological and cognitive also, response, the effects also, which brings in anxiety, depression, brain fog, mood swings, all those things. And when all these things, there is a behavioral impact also that the person goes through. And he draws a very beautiful parallel with the modern medicine and Ayurveda, considering the liver. That liver actually controls the pitta prakriti, the pitta element of the body, the fire element of the body. So it controls the pitta dosha. If the liver is not controlled well, the if liver is not functioning well, the pitta of the body is impacted highly. And pitta is something which is digesting the food, assimilating the food, and it is a central theme of your gut health. So with this, we move next. This is this is the contribution by Dr. Pankaj Verma. And now we come to Dr. Sadhana Mehta, who talks about the subconscious bridge, where she talks about hypnotherapy, where from the conscious mind she takes her patients or to from the towards the critical faculty, the layer between the conscious and subconscious, eventually into the subconscious mind. And the spiritual hypnotherapy looks beyond this lifetime, working with past lives, karmic impacts, higher self wisdom, soul journeys. And जब भी हम हिप्नोथेरेपी के बारे में सोचते हैं तो हमें वो पेंडुलम याद आता है या समथिंग हु हैज पुट यू, बट एक्चुअली subconscious mind is a reality of our mind, and it is just that we can access it only when we are deeply relaxed. So uh, being a practitioner of meditation, I have seen the difference between, so if how do the yogis actually are able to stay up, because they know how to access their subconscious and reach to that relaxation of the conscious in a very less span of time. So we've heard of people, the yogis, who don't sleep for more than 2 to 3 hours. Our Prime Minister Modi ji doesn't sleep for more than 4 hours. So there's a deep connection between reaching out to the subconscious, relaxing the conscious, and accessing the subconscious for deeper decisions, or letting it take care of letting it drive your life. Okay. So the next one. So here, um, we also explore the two-way street of health, which is, one is the vagus nerve. We all understand why I put this separately is because the vagus nerve is very critical in taking care of our parasympathetic nervous system, which activates our resting system. So it actually connects with all the parts, major organs of the body, be it the intestines, the stomach, the liver, the heart, the lungs. It flows through all of them. And if the vagus nerve is not taken care of, because of inflammation, of hormonal imbalance, or the gut leakage, eventually every resting mechanism of the body is impacted, which is going to transferring to different parts. And the other one is the neurotransmitters, which are the mood chemicals made in the gut, so which uh, MEG I think was talking about. 90 to 95 percentage of serotonin is produced in the gut. Then there is GABA, which is gamma aminobutyric acid, which is the calming neurotransmitters. Dopamine, which is needed for motivation and reward. Again, that is, there is a huge secretion of that in the gut. And the other hormones like the ghrelin and the leptin. So when the hormonal balance is not in place, the ghrelin secretion is much more, we feel all the more hungry. And the the secretion of leptin is way lesser, because of which we feel insecure. So just see that how it's drawing, it is colliding with the stimulation of eating habits and feeling insecure or feeling unprotected, which can also drive from the hormonal health of a person. So with this, we move towards the culmination. And here in the next slide, the doctors, the different doctors in their own case studies and into their own uh, reflections, they are pointing, they're coming to this approach, which is like change of approach from reductionist to systems thinking. So reductionist approach is basically when we are which talks about the approach of the modern medicine, where the modern medicine came around 1970s, in in this 1900 to 2000, this is the time when modern medicine, it was actually, it came into the system because of the war, where a magic bullet was needed. So someone has wounded, there is something needed which is like a quick fix. That is a time when the modern medicine was invented. And because of invention of modern medicine so much, there is all the more, all that is happening is we hear of specializations, that more and more specializations, more and more going into the silos of topics. So modern medicine came in, the reductionist approach came in industrial era or during the wars. And whereas systems thinking, sorry, the typo of systems has to be corrected. The systems thinking, which is the integrated approach, this has been since 5000 years ago, or as old as Ayurveda. Now reductionist approach has led to micro specialization, whereas the systems thinking considers the whole system into, it takes considers the whole system. This approach seeks magic bullet, a quick fix, whereas this doesn't consider magic, a single magic bullet. It believes in the integrative perspective. Now this will shift the glance only to genes, and that's why that gene therapy is also an option available now. But unfortunately, chronic diseases or lifestyle diseases, these are not pertaining to one gene or one pattern of gene, but it is a combination of genes. And thankfully it is a very expensive system that many people are unable to go for it, and eventually they come back to integrative systems, which are much more easier to practice, and pocket friendly as well. So system thinking considers social and economic conditions. Reductionist approach only stays at the surface level, where it is treating the symptoms. So it is like those doctors who just without, you will say that you have a cold and you will be given a prescription without any question or answer. And whereas system thinking is like that doctor who is spending half an hour with you, understanding about your work, your existence, your environment, your friends, your habits, your sleep cycle, and it ventures into deep healing. So these days, thankfully, we can see uh, a connection between the reductionist and systems. People are from the reductionist approach. We have options available who are working on systems thinking or an integrated approach. So again, drawing parallels with, like in north we call it Ayurveda, in south we call it Siddha. We go through the layers of our existence. So how it has been, how, what is systems biology talking about or considering, that Purusha is that will or that thought, and Prakriti is a manifestation of that thought. uh, sure, okay, thank you, Amiji. And with the manifestation of the Prakriti, we have the various gunas, which is Rajas, Tamas, and Sattvic and Sattva. So from these various gunas, this Prakriti has layers of gunas in it. Now from these gunas, we have the Panch Mahabhutas, the five elements that combine and bring us together and give us a particular form. In the Panch Mahabhutas, we have the three doshas, the Pitta, Vata, and Kapha. And with these doshas, we eventually go to the dhatus, which is Majja. Then we have the seven dhatus, which is about tissues, the muscles, and their Sanskrit names to it. And when these dhatus come together, we form the different koshas. So this is how there is a parallel drawn between the systems biology and Ayurveda and Siddha, that how eventually how deep is our existence, and how there is so much of um there is so much of deeper level phenomena to it. With this we go to the next one, And so this is an integrative approach, talked about the which the various doctors have talked about. uh, I'll share the details of all these doctors, and this clinic is in Hoska Sampurnam Holistic Center, and where different doctors come together. Whereas a couple of the doctors who are the authors of this book, they are not a part of this holistic center, but they have united for this book. So this is about the missing links, and what we can do is we can end with a small meditation together. So let us all close our eyes, take a couple of deep breaths. So we are trying to go into a process of self hypnosis where we'll try and reach out to our subconscious level. Take a couple of deep breaths. Instruct yourself that with every breath that you are taking in, you are going into a much deeper level of yourself, into a much more relaxed state, the true nature of yours. So you are trying to reach out to that truth of yours with every breath that you are taking up. And now, softly, we start giving a count to ourselves in a descending order, starting from 10. With every count, we will go deeper, deeper. Imagine yourself climbing down from the stairs, and from the top, you can see that at the end of the stairs, where the stairs end, you can see a beautiful garden over there, which also has a lake in between it. So let's start going beyond. Let's start going down from the stairs. 9. Visualize yourself walking down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We're almost there. 2 and 1. We've reached to this beautiful garden, which also has a lake. It has beautiful flowers all around. There is a bench in the center. Let's go and sit on that bench. Have a view of the lake. As we sit calmly in this beautiful presence of flowers, fresh air, butterflies, the breeze flowing across the face, as we sit here, let's remind ourselves that my body, my being is the ultimate healer, and the body wants, the mind wants to be at its best. Let us remind ourselves this thing again and again. My body knows all, and it knows how to heal itself. My body is the ultimate healer, and it knows how to heal itself. My body is the ultimate healer, and it knows how to heal itself. As we remind ourselves of this reality, that our body, our mind, our existence, our system is always working for us, never against us, and we give it its due trust and love. Now let's start walking back to the stairs with this truth in our heart, with this trust empowered and engraved in our mind. We start walking back up. We go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We come back at the top of the stairs and we can feel the sunshine. We can feel the warmth of the sun lighting us up, and the every cell of the body is able to receive this warmth. And with this, let's rub our palms gently, place them on our eyes, soak the warmth of our palms, softly release and come back. With this, we come to an end, a culmination of the book review. Thank you so much, everyone, for being there. If there, let me know if there are any reflections, any queries, any sharings.
Before that, we can take a selfie together. Then we can proceed to Q&A.
Sure.
Very inspiring, indulging session. So many things we got to know. And I think everyone was listening silently, intently to you. All right. I would request everyone to turn on their cameras. Santi ji, Jyotsna ji, Priya ji, Jagriti ji, good evening. All right. Smile, everyone. Okay. Ready? One, two, smile. Gorgeous. Thank you so much. Yeah. Please go ahead with the Q&A.
Yes, I'd like to share that for kids below 12 or 14 years, I think, they don't give medicines. Psychiatrists or psychologists don't give medicines because my cousin is a clinical, child psychologist, and I had suggested my friend to talk to her because her son was had withdrawal symptoms. Like you said, he was not talking to his um school friends and things. So they give activities like drawing, coloring, or some other activities to express themselves. So they do not give these medicines. Yeah, but it was your session was excellent. I have no words. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Venuji. Yeah, you're right. With children, it's there is more work which is worked through emotional patterns, or giving them activities and trying to resolve things through such activities, like intensive counseling sessions, or something which can help them unveil their whatever is hidden, or symptoms which are not coming out. So yeah, that's true.
Amazing. Yes, Sanjay ji.
Ruchi ji, thank you so much for this wonderful session. In fact, no words, and it connected many things. One thing I was reflecting upon Towards the end, you mentioned about reductionist versus system thinking approach, and it goes back to 5,000 years ago. While in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was seeing only from the angle of relatives and all, and here comes Lord Krishna and takes up systems thinking approach, showing him that what is your duty towards society. You are not body, you are soul. And then he goes further into cosmos order, those kind of things. So it's wonderful. It's fantastic session by you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you for drawing this parallel. It's a very beautiful resonation that you've come up with.
Yes, Pramila ji.
Okay.
I just want to say it was amazing. Uh, and uh, you are having no science background, but you explained things so nicely. मतलब लग रहा था कि आपने साइंस बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ी, and brain related vocabulary was you explained very nicely. Thank you so much, Ruchi ji. And this gut and skin and gut brain is very important. And after joining this Sattvic moment, I realized the correlation between gut brain health. So this is really true. So thank you again, and it was really awesome. And again, I want to use Palak ji's word, amazing.
Thank you.
Loved it.
I remember, this was year 2014, the first time I went to a homeopathic doctor. And we generally have a perception that homeopathic doctor कभी आपसे MRI या X-ray या ये सब report नहीं मांगेगा. And this doctor tells me I used to have a problem called pilonidal sinus. She tells me for which three of the major hospitals in Delhi had told me that it is a surgery which is the solution, and a 1 month of bed rest which is the solution. But I did not want to go for that. I talked to this doctor and she asked me that come with the MRI report. So first time I was amazed that some homeopathic doctor is telling me that she will meet me only when I have the MRI in my hand. Okay. And then the another surprise that comes, that when I show her the MRI report that the infection has, she was like, the good thing is that it has not entered the bone. And but let me tell you, everything is stress related. So it is all due to stress. So from MRI coming down to the deep level, that it is all related to how you think, you perceive, and your stresses, which is accumulating everything. So from that moment, I knew that this is the doctor for me. And I've been with that doctor since, till now I am with her. And I've sorted out so many problems that have come on the way, eventually resulting in that how a simple sneak peek into our emotional pattern. किसी को अगर हम सोच रहे हैं कि उसके साथ हमारा रिलेशनशिप अच्छा नहीं है, बट माइट बी दैट पर्सन इज गोइंग थ्रू अ डिप्रेसिव टेंडेंसी, and when you get that sneak peek, your perspective towards that person completely changes. It becomes all the more compassionate. And when you start looking at that from that compassionate angle, the relationship is bound to thrive and survive. So uh, yeah, so this was my story with the doctor, who actually, and doctors have really helped me change my perspectives towards things. Swapna ji, yes.
Yes, so actually, the word doctor, okay, so I've already shared this with Ruchi ji also over a one-to-one conversation. I've had childhood trauma with doctors because, I mean, I don't want to get into the details of all that, we keep it for another day. So, so basically, I have seen doctors also, I've seen a change in doctors. Why I want to tell this is, I mean, from my childhood, I've seen, doctors as only the ones who actually where it's like a trauma for me. Whenever the word doctor comes, I'm like, okay, no, I should not go to the doctor. But over the years, especially after COVID and during the COVID time, I was a caregiver for my mother, okay, the peak time of COVID. And that time I had doctors visiting home. more than my mother's health. They were like, please get somebody, please go on a holiday, please look after your stress level. Even when she passed away, the first thing they told me is, please just go on a holiday. I've never heard any doctor telling this. Even recently, just around 6 months back also, I had a very bad experience. Few of them might be knowing about it, but even now when I go and meet the doctor, I he always asks me, how are your stress levels, how is everything going on. That one to one connect, is so very important. Because I have seen doctors from a different level where they're only into money making. I'm sorry, I have nothing against any doctor. Josna ma'am, I totally love you. Okay. So, they totally only into money making and all that. Because 10 years back, I have had a very life threatening surgery which led to a major complication which happened this year. Okay, it was not needed actually. But I mean, I don't know, it was a mistake from our end also. But what I see is that compassion, as Ruchiji was mentioning, that compassion should be there from the doctor's side also. Dig a little deeper, try to connect with the patient a little on the personal level. That's very very important, and that's more than important. I mean, it gives you a sense of comfort. Now, see, if I have to go to my doctor, to my gastroenterologist, if I have to go, I will not think twice. Though I have had like five, endoscopies done this year with a biopsy also, but still I will not think so much to go now. Because, okay, I know he's there. He will give me that comfort. He will tell, it's okay, don't worry, everything will be all right. But, initially, the doctors which I had visited years back, that compassion was not there. So again, it's like, oh god, I have to go to the doctor again, he's going to prick me. Oh my god, no, should I go? Is it necessary to go? you know that bonding on that personal level is very very important. And I was able to connect through so many things through Ruchi's review. It's been really long time since I've come and attended TBF's book review, though I love them and I keep seeing them on YouTube. Okay, so that I personally wanted to come and listen to this today, and I found out so many of my answers. So thank you so much once again, Ruchi ji, Palak, always doing the amazing work, and everyone out here. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening to me and my perspective. Okay, so yeah, over to all of you right now. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Swapnadi, for sharing. All right. So I think this was quite an insightful session. We got to know so many things, especially we are not from medical background and learning so many things from you. It's amazing, Ruchi. Thank you so much for taking up this, teaching us.
Thank you for this opportunity. And thank you so much, everyone, for being patient. And see you all soon in the other review.
Yes. So with that, we come to the end. Thank you so much, everyone, for
Take
joining.